Hello, my Taurus friends. This is Kristen Redman, Astrological Intuitive, and today we are going to be talking about what 2022 has in store for you, and it's a lot. It's a lot, and you got a preview at the end of last year at that November 16th eclipse that we had happening of all this opportunity, right? Shift and change finally to pay off for all this hard work that you've put in, and you're getting a lot of that to come through this year in so many ways. I mean, there's so much happening for you that is just pushing you in so many different ways. You've got these eclipses, you've got Uranus that's changing you through all of these unpredictable events and people and situations that come up in these eclipses that happen in your house of self and relationship, that help you get deeper emotional connections with yourself, with the people around you, help you find the true intimacy that you desire, and it really helps propel you towards what you're here to do and to find your true self in so many ways. Let's just get into it, huh? Let's get into it. Where to start? Let's start with, in general, right? Let's just start with these eclipses because that's like the underlying current that's going to go through this entire reading. So in the world of astrology, eclipses are huge to us astrologers, right? They tell us where new beginnings are happening for people, where there's some old stuff that's being purged to make way for this new amazing energy that's coming through. These eclipse cycles work in 10-year intervals, so it's not the same sign every year, and it's been 10 years since it's been in your sign. And so the way that I see that for you is that clearly there are some old, outdated beliefs, belief systems, people, memories, things that have to be purged in order for the true authentic you to start coming through, because there's so many blessings that are waiting. But it's about actualizing and realizing who you are in these eclipses. And as they happen, April 30th, May 16th, October 25th, and November 8th, you are going to see in the weeks leading up to each one of those dates where the universe is going to put you on alert, right? It could be relationship stuff, it could be work stuff, it could be just understanding patterns inside of yourself that you don't like. They're going to come to the surface at the time of these eclipses, and they're going to want to be dealt with. Okay, they don't want to be pushed away. And if you can access the power of this time frame, and if you can look at these things for what they are and say, I'm willing to start releasing these things, I'm ready to start letting these outdated beliefs go, you are going to be amazed at what comes as a result. The thing is, being an astrologer, right? Like anything we do as spiritual people, we give you advice, right? That's what we do. We look at something and we say, this is the potential of what can be. But the thing that always overrides that is human free will. So I can look at something and say, oh, you're going to get married this year. I can see it right there. If you don't want to, your human free will overrides that. Or it could be the opposite. I can look at something and go, oh, I can see a divorce happening. You can override that, and by the power of your will say, no, I don't want that. And you can rewrite these things, right? You have the power to always do that. But we have these windows of time where if we do want to make these changes, and if we act in a new way in that time frame, the results will come later as a result. And you are going to see that in so many ways this year if you know when to act. April 30th, May 16th, October 25th, November 8th. Watch what the universe is doing and respond in new ways. That's the thing. Don't respond in the old, outdated thing. Don't go for the same type of person. Don't respond in the same way that you did. Don't internalize it in the same way that you have. You will be amazed at what comes through as a result. So these eclipses work in tandem, right? That's where it's doing it over here. It's reinventing who you are. And as another added bonus to this, not only do we have this 10-year eclipse happening in your house of self to really understand who you are and what you want, we've also got an 80-year cycle happening of Uranus moving through your sign of Taurus. 80 years it takes for that guy to make a revolution around the sun, where we take 365 days for our year. It takes 80 of our years for that dude to make it across. And as it does, Uranus is the planet of unexpected things. It's the planet of liberation. It's the planet of freedom. It's the planet of unpredictable events, though. See what happens, especially with Taurus, right? We get in comfort zones, right? We do. It is just part of who we are as human beings. But it's especially true for you because you're ruled by Venus, the planet of comfort. And getting out of a situation is tough for you, because even if it's bad, you'll stay in it because you know what to expect. And Uranus comes through, and it's the planet of being our true authentic self. And it goes, well, that comfortable situation doesn't work for you. Why are you in it? You know, why are you in it? Why do you keep putting yourself through this again and again and again? And so what'll happen is Uranus will bring through unexpected events, right? It could be unexpected job loss, unexpected person leaves your life, unexpected person enters your life. They can be good or bad, right? But no matter what these events are, we are asked to go with the flow, to accept the unexpected. Because as we do, those are the events that are shaping us and helping us to realize and actualize what it is we really do want and who we really are. And so you have that happening. That started, well, it first moved in May of 2018. It was actually the day that Prince Harry and Meghan got married, which on a global scale, you know, this radical change in Taurus, which is like the structure that's around us, you know, what a huge thing. I mean, that was just so astrologically beautiful the way that happened. Then it retrograded and it bebopped back and forth, and it didn't really technically move in until legitimately the day the lockdown happened in 2020. And you can see where Taurus takes on health as well too, unexpected events that happen in health of Taurus. So it really made it stay there in 2020, and it finally leaves in 2025. And I can guarantee in your life, Taurus, you have had a lot of unpredicted stuff. Thoughts emerging, all of these events emerging, asking you to step outside of that comfort zone and really step into the true authentic self that you have, because it's going to be amazing what you can do with it. People are not going to be used to it. I'll tell you what, I've seen it in lots of different ways. I've got Taurus folks that are the practical, you're always the shoulders that carry all the burdens, and people expect that. And Uranus coming through your sign is like, I don't want your malarkey on me anymore. I'm taking this off my shoulders, and I want to do what's best for me. And people are like, what? What are you doing? And you're going to be hit with some flack for not wanting to do it. That's okay, right? As long as you're doing it in a good fashion, right? You're not like beating people up to do it, but you know what I mean? Like, if you're doing it for the best and highest good of you, because this is what you want, not what other people want, and if it propels you forward, these eclipses are going to do it, and Uranus is right behind it doing it as well. So you have to listen to yourself with that. Now, so these eclipses are happening over here in the house of self. We clearly talked about that for damn near 10 minutes. But over here on the other side, we've got the relationship house. House of self, house of relationship, right? And these eclipses are impacting this side just as much. And what they're really asking you to do in these eclipses, especially the May 16th and the October 25th ones, are releasing old emotional baggage and old program beliefs around relationship in those times. So don't be surprised if reoccurring issues that you have that happen one relationship to the next, to the next, to the next, emerge in those time frames to be healed, to be seen, to be dealt with, okay? Especially the self-sabotaging behaviors, the repetitive patterns that you find yourself in, and the limiting beliefs, especially the ones that are stemmed in childhood as well. I'm telling you what, they are definitely a time to not only recognize the patterns, but to release them as well. Let's think. I'm trying to figure which way I want to go here. So let's do this. Money. Let's move into money, right? We already talked enough about relationship and love, and clearly there's going to be some amazing things in store for you if you're willing to recognize what you're worthy of and what needs to go as a result. That's what these eclipse cycles represent. Taurus is what we are worthy of and what we think we're worthy of and what we deserve. And Scorpio asks us to let go of what doesn't, what we're not, what we don't deserve, right? Bottom line, that's for all of us, but it's exceptionally true for you this year. So in money, we're starting this year out with Venus, which is your ruling planet, okay? Love and money, harmony, balance, all of those things is what Venus rules. And when it retrogrades every 2 years, it has us reassessing how we operate in those areas. So to start 2022 out on that note, while we're going through these Taurus eclipses, it's just so astrologically perfect to me because it's asking all of us to reassess our relationship with money and other people and ourselves, and how much we do love ourselves and how much we tolerate that we don't deserve and what we think we're truly worthy of, right? So there's a lot of that going on in your mind right now. I deserve to be paid more. I deserve to be loved more in the way that I need. I deserve this. I deserve, yes, you do. You know what I mean? And listen to those things. Where this is especially impacting you is in your 8th house of debts, right? And shared resources. So this is in really truly the house of intimacy. So if you find that it's lacking in your life, especially the intimacy part, that's where we're going to go, and then we'll go to the money part. If you're lacking in that, what is it? Think of that. What are the limiting beliefs that hold you back from getting the intimacy that you want? Are you holding back from being your true authentic self? Well, Uranus sure is pushing you out of your shell right now to be that authentic self, so somebody can truly love who you are, not the facade of what you are and what you do, right? Who you are at your core, that you're starting to understand. But also with it being from the money aspect, because that's what we're talking about, right? Money here. So the money aspect, it's the 8th house of debts, what you owe to other people. You owe to other people. So Venus retrograde has you looking to how you've spent your money, your relationship with money, and what your long-term goals might be moving forward to knock that debt down so you no longer have that in your way. Not only that, we also have Mars retrograde that's going to be happening at the end of the year as well too, that's going to be in a financial sector for you to give you the confidence to take on maybe like some side hustle, side job, get a new job, ask for that raise. It gives you the confidence to do that and the energy and the stamina to actually, you know, do it, because it's the warrior planet. But we also have Mercury retrograde that's going to be happening April 30th to July 5th. It's a really extended period of time, okay, that the Mercury retrograde is going to be happening, and Mars is actually going to be touring before it does its retrograde in there. A lot of gibberish, I know, but really what that breaks it down into the brass tacks is that it's a massive rethink on your finances and getting confident to ask for that raise. Everything I literally just said. Pushing harder for what you truly value, and it gives you the confidence to go after what you want because you know you're deserving of it, right? Absolutely. Career. Dang. Gosh, you got so much going on, Taurus. Holy smokes. Okay. You got a lot. Okay. So, career. We have got Saturn, the planet of lessons and responsibility and hard work and permanence, right? This guy takes 30 years to make its revolution around the wheel, where Uranus, we were talking about, takes 80. Big impacts when these slow-moving planets come through because they move so slow. So this 30-year cycle, it started at the end of 2020, and it's going to continue through the remainder of this year, where Saturn is trying to stabilize your career house, not just your day-to-day job. It's talking about your life purpose. And so I see this in a lot of ways, and I've seen it over the years for various clients. When Saturn transits through their career house, they could be retiring and starting a new career that's more fitting for who they are, especially because this is an Aquarius and that is about a career that's more fitting for who you are. Not only does Saturn come through, and I'll tell you what, last year was probably you working your butt off, is my guess of it. and realizing where it's not necessarily fitting in with who you are. You're like, I'm working my butt off and it's getting me nowhere because I don't even like it anymore. I totally realize I freaking hate this because that's what Aquarius is. It's like, is this true to who you are? No. No, it's not. So Saturn's going through there, getting you to realize that. But then this year, maybe this is where you make a change. Maybe this is where you make a change and you do something different. And then Saturn will go on its other side and say, well, you've already put the hard work in for 30 years. Do what makes you happy. Because when you do, that's when Saturn works in your favor and it gives you stability in that career house with whatever that transition is that you're making. And for the next 30 years, you're going to have that stability under you as a result. I mean, come on. It's like amazing, you know. It's just a matter of knowing when to act on it and having the right plan, because that's what Saturn asks as the caveat to that. Have a plan. Come up with a plan and I'll make it work for you, right? This is going to be especially true when Mars and Saturn align. Hasn't happened for 2 years. It's going to happen on April 5th. And when that happens, I tell you what, you may be faced with an opportunity that asks you to jump and to trust your intuition. Do it. If your intuition is telling you this is something better and it's asking for you to call on it in the moment, sometimes we have to in life, right? Because those windows of opportunity close. And I would just be extra aware that there is something that's going to be more fitting for who you are or help you to realize it. Or maybe it's something where you have to stand up for yourself at that time. I don't really know. It's going to be different for everybody. I mean, I could be talking to 50 different, Taurus right now, and it could be different for each one of you. But I know that something will happen at that time frame. So just keep an eye out. Just keep an eye out in that time frame. Not only do we have that, so maybe you're like, oh man, I'd really like to get a new job, but there's no opportunities. I've hit the glass ceiling where I'm at and there's nothing I can do. Don't you fret. Don't you fret, my Taurus friends. You have Jupiter working in a 12-year cycle. As it moves into, it's kind of going bebopping back and forth. It's going from your 10th house of career, where we were just talking, into the 11th house of the organizations and the networks and the friends that surround you. As Jupiter tours both of those houses, it brings you lucky breaks where maybe before, maybe it is a glass ceiling and there's no opportunity, but Jupiter comes through and Jim decides to retire in accounting and that frees up a spot for you. Jupiter moves through this area and it brings through a new opportunity, maybe at a new location that fits better for you. And you have the connections all of a sudden because Jupiter is connecting you with new people. That's the wonderful thing. Not only that, but Jupiter is also expanding your friend network as well too. Bringing people into your life that are more fitting for who you are, because the old adage is true. You are who you surround yourself with. So if you surround yourself with people that are limited in their beliefs, limited in their potential, limited in all these things, it's going to happen to you as well. And you probably see that. So Jupiter coming through is like, let's push you out of that. Let's find some new people. And it brings them into you, right? Got to jump on it. Especially at April 13th, okay? Isn't that interesting? Because we were just talking about April 5th, something pops up. Well, then April 13th, we've got Jupiter aligning with Neptune, the planet of dreams, in that time frame, bringing some really lucky opportunities through. I tell you what, this is a year where we really don't have a lot of astrological transits that are happening, where like 2020, I had so many. It was like, I'm like, what is this year going to have in store? Well, we found that out pretty quick. But this year, it's only 3, and they all happen between February and May. And they all deal with Jupiter, the planet of luck, opportunity, and expansion. And where that's happening for you is in your house of career and the people that you surround yourself with and the organizations that you surround yourself with. Amazing things, dude. I'm telling you what. So let's do this. Let's go over birthdays. Now, this is general overall for Taurus folks. If you want to know more about what this year has in store for you, and I highly encourage that for you to do, there's a link below and for a reading with me, and we can do that by phone, by Skype, by who even uses Skype, whatever, Zoom, FaceTime, I don't care. We can do it. You know, I just know that this is such a pivotal time in your life. And knowing where that hits in your specific chart is super, super important. Okay. Whatever, long and short of it, here we go. So, in general, if your birthday is April 20th to May 21st, so pretty much anybody who's a Taurus, right? Jupiter is going to be making a really amazing connection with your sun, pushing your boundaries in ways that are going to make you uncomfortable. And that's okay. Because remember, the more that we get outside of our comfort zone, that's where growth happens, is outside of the discomfort. You got to do it, right? And so Jupiter is going to be pushing you and pushing the limits on what you normally would think and what you're capable of, and pushing the limits on what you think you're worthy of too, because I think you've really found in this year that you've limited that and you're ready to expand that circle of what you know that you're truly deserving of, and believing in yourself to make it happen, because that's what Jupiter wants us to do. Have faith in the darkness that it can happen. And if you do, this is a year where it will. I'm telling you what. May 1st through the 15th, Saturn out there is going to be squaring your sun. So it's definitely going to be a year of having to set boundaries with people. It's having to set some rules and structures in order. Could be some more self-discipline that's needed for yourself as well too, because that's what Saturn likes. The more rules, the better. The more boundaries, the better. The more limitations, the better. Because when we put in the hard work now and the suffering we go through now for this tiny little short term, it's going to pay off big, and that's going to be especially true for you. Definitely a year for you to release old obligations that no longer serve you as well, because it's necessary, right? Yeah. If your birthday is April 30th to May 8th, Uranus is going to be aligning with your sun. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity, unless you somehow live another 80 years. And then it'll be a lot different then. But Uranus aligning with your sun is pushing you to be a rebel. People are going to be like, ooh, and the heck and the what and the who is this? I don't even know who you are, Taurus person. You are going to be so very much in tune with what your authentic higher self is telling you to do. Follow it. Go with it. Embrace the unexpected. Embrace the weird things that pop up, because that's where growth is going to happen for you. So, you all, I want you to keep in mind that we all have opportunities at these eclipses to make things happen. We do. But for you, in terms of manifesting, they're going to be stronger at all of them. And the full moons are going to, I think all of them, I'm going to be honest with you, the new moons and the full moons this year, I think they're going to require you to plant seeds of manifesting for what you do want and releasing what you don't. Really, really strong. And so that's April 30th, May 16th, October 25th, and November 8th. And I tell you what, if your birthday is like April 30th, May 16th, or within a few days, give or take, what a year of change you have ahead of you. I'm telling you, you're going to see it. Trust me. But let's pull a card, shall we? Let's pull a card. Right now, I'm just kind of asking for Archangel Shamuel to come through. He is the Archangel for your sign of Taurus. He is the angel that helps us find anything at all, whether it's a job, a romantic partner, a business partner. He's helped me find rings that I've lost, jewelry. He's helped me find my dog when we were hundreds of miles away and she got out and was lost. You name it, man. Shamuel is it. And so, but one of the main things he helps us find is peace in the chaos. And there is certainly going to be and has been a lot of chaos because of Uranus moving through your sign. And whenever you feel it, call on Archangel Shamuel to help you find peace. But right now we're helping him to we're asking him to help us find a card that's going to be like your benchmark totem card for the year and what to keep in mind. I'm going to do this 2 more times, 3 more times. Yeah. Change in the wind, a change in the wind. Well, I think we know what that means. Clearly. So, my ears ringing too. Obviously, there are going to be some changes that are happening. They have to. That's the thing. With Uranus going through your sign for the 8 years that it takes, it is requiring you to make some major changes and adjustments to not only how you act in this world, but what you will tolerate from other people. And this is a year where I know it's coming. It's like beyond obvious, right? One of the things I want you to be aware of looking at this that is intuitively coming through to me is that old adage that a zebra can't change its stripes. And I think that's going to be very important for you to remember this year, is that especially if you're carrying burdens from others with repetitive cycles and you're expecting them to change, a zebra is not going to change their stripes. And it's probably for the best for you to cut your losses. I know that's really strong to say, but it's also about changing directions with how we see things and operate in the world. Everything I talked about earlier, it comes into this card, but you have to have the courage to make those changes when you can feel the direction changing on you. Oh, Taurus, you're so legit. I tell you what, you're going to have a wonderful year ahead of you. So much, so many wonderful things. And I pray for prosperity and most of all, peace for you in this time. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful year.